It's so insane.
Like, so this is like, oh my God, this like makes me so happy because this highlights how badly we misunderstand the moment that you're in relative to so many different things. Like, if this is right, like what we're saying is that over the past 24 months, Facebook basically has made their ad product so much incredibly better alongside everything else we're doing and everything else. But we have massively increased the spend and improved the ROAS, and still this year over last year with way more spend, the ROAS is still up.
Yeah.
So like all the noise, like this is where it's like too, like when you're in the moment, like it's your relative comparative windows become really sort of like foggy because you have these like you're winning and then you're losing and then you're winning and then you're losing and it feels like wacky. But for all the like, this is like the end to the Twitter nonsense.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Wait, what are you looking at?
In that channel, there's a direct message.
The document there?
No, there's two graphs.
Oh. Oh. Holy
Spend.
So it's like, yeah, there was a big gap. The delta, go look at, like, if you draw a little wide margin between April and May, yeah, that was an anomaly. But the idea that today is somehow like this drastic meltdown is just not true.
It's this experience here.
Yes, that's what makes it feel that way. That's exactly it, is that slope that we all are on is a slope. It's a part of consumer purchase behavior, at least in some way. That peaks around the Mother's Day, Father's Day, or whatever the window is that happens there. Because is Memorial Day right in between Mother's Day, Father's Day?
Yeah, isn't it
Yes.
like May 20? My
Right.
birthday.
You have these three combined moments: Mother's Day, Father's Day, Memorial Day, that like are pretty big moments for, at least in our universe. Maybe not for Pepsi, but like in our universe, that sort of stack up, and then they end, and it goes into the lull. Like there's nothing there.
That second chart you sent includes way more accounts, right?
Yeah, I mean, both those charts are based off the same 46 year over year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The majority of those are growth teams.
Yeah.
Dude, that is stupid. That chart is insanity.
Right?
Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like
that's like so what somebody should say is that's the effectiveness in CTC in two metrics. Like those two charts should be our entire homepage.
right.
Right?
Yeah, like
Here's
the
what
only thing is we're pulling accounts that we've just started managing. Like there's a couple in there like Baboon and like probably Fresh Clean Teas, but native's out. Native would throw off this whole chart. They're not in there.
Yeah, I've got the list.
Yeah, I think honestly, and my honest belief what it is, it's a testament to Facebook's freaking ad product.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, and this is the thing that just boggles my mind about people's like talk about, oh, CBO and I'm like, you guys just, oh.
By the way, this is the section I'm chopping and posting.
Perfect.
Fine.
No, with those two shots and what Andrew said, I mean, we'll drill down on that, and I think by Monday we can come back with, as Andrew said, the pretty version. Let's let Trent lead with the raw stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll chop up this video.
Let's actually coordinate this tweet. Trent, like if you want to write something out, will you send it over? And then let's figure out what we do with it, because I think it is a really powerful piece of information.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's like, I mean, I think like the main thing is just like, oh, does everything feel like it's on fire right now? Zoom out and look at your account last year, you know?
If you feel on fire, zoom out. Like, come with me on a journey to the evolution of Smash Town.
Yeah.
Well, and it really is. It's as intellectual as it is emotional to be in that moment. It's the normal becomes normal so fast. That's what you know. That's the flavor you're experiencing, the temperature. And when that temperature changes, even if it's astronomically better than a large swath of time previous to that,
Right.
It's such a emotional experience, which just goes right back to what you were just talking about, Taylor, of that's precisely why we're bad at this as humans.
You're creating the problem, because what they do in response to this is they go start something else and then they chase it again, and it peaks and drops and peaks and drops. And the own volatility that they create further perpetuates the dependency that they think that the other people give, like that they give to other people. It's like, this is such chaos, you need me to help you navigate it. But they create it with the behavior.
Part of the challenge too, like I was thinking about this. What did we say the 50th percentile outcome is for a Facebook ROAS for a CTC client?
The way I say it is usually like it went from 2.2 to 2.0 to 1.8.
Okay, so I think the causality is in the opposite direction that people are thinking about that a lot of times. I think the causality there is that people spend right up to the reason that's the middle outcome is not because of anything inherent in Facebook. It's because it's inherent in your unit economics. So people spend right up to the point of like a little tiny bit of profit with as much volume as possible, which for most people is somewhere around 1.8. And so
we've learned to do. Yeah.
Right. So what's driving the behavior is I can get more spend and still be profitable. Go get it. So what that does is it creates the story writes itself on the baseline of spend there, right? And so because all of those brands, like if you just think about those charts you just showed, Trent, right? What could be happening is everybody could be spending the same amount, and your one-day click ROAS could be like way up here, year over year, instead of like just tracking a little bit above it. But nobody does that. What they want is the growth. They don't want the profit in the short term, because growth is the bar. And this is the other problem that happens, right? Is that the moment, and I've said this for forever in e-commerce, it's one of the terrible things about working in e-commerce is that the moment you hit a new high, the moment you hit a new bar, you are now unsatisfied until you clear it again. It's like being a high jumper, right? It's like all you do is just set yourself a higher bar to clear. And so you can feel good about it for a moment, but realistically, if you're competitive about this at all, so those two things always happen. And if you don't find some way to connect your emotions to the data of that storyline, you'll just be unsatisfied forever and feel like something's breaking when it's not breaking. Nothing's breaking. It's doing exactly what you told it to do, basically.
Right. What then do you look at for the businesses, the brands in your portfolio?
Well, I try to be pretty emotionally disconnected from individual fluctuations. What did you say, Brett?
I also I think this is one of Vince's.
When you start the sentence, I try to be pretty emotionally disconnected. My wife put the word on the end. She said with everything. True.
But I think this is actually a skill that Vince has, like in terms of one of his strengths, is he's not emotionally moved easily.
I totally agree with you. He does not he doesn't freak out. I freak out more than he does for sure.
Right.
And yeah, but he's pretty steady.
You have the same personality. Like there's something about this like temperature level set that makes me and Andrew more subject to some issues than guys like you.
Well, and it's wild too to be inside the 4x500 group and watch those daily reports come in, which almost feels antithetical. Like, why are those getting? But at the same time, it's the response inside of those for like there is some celebrations, and then there's so much levity when it tanks or when something doesn't work. And I compared that with something like the investor emails of this is the last 30, this is the next, and here's like the 60 to 90 maybe that's coming out of it. And these are the opportunities.
Yeah, and you have to detach yourself from those dailies. They're hard. Hard.
I want to see it because if I get enough of those in a row, then I can go like something's wrong and I have to go solve the problem. Which like this bamboo thing. For a day it happened, I didn't care. For 2 days I was like, huh. For 3 days it's like, okay, we need to go dive into figuring out what's going on, because the sample set's getting large enough now, especially if it's like a website conversion rate problem, to where I can like identify it. But this is, I mean, I think here's what I do. What I do is I try to understand the problem before I act. And it's actually one of our like 400 values, right? Is like understand before you act. And I've been trying to hammer that with my team, which is just like, and I think this is the mistake that a lot of buyers make that Taylor was hitting on earlier, right? Is they say, oh, everything's going crazy. Like it's broken. And like, I'll even do this on Twitter. I'll say, what's broken? When you say it's broken, what do you mean by that sentence? Is the CPC higher? Are you not converting traffic? Is the CPM? If the CPC is higher, why? Are you getting lower click-through rate in your ads, or is the CPM up? Those are the only two possible explanations. Like, because if you just say it's broken, oh, everything's a mess. Like it doesn't actually help solve the problem. But for me, at least, the data is really stabilizing. I go and like, oh, weird, I ran something, and then you go look and, oh, I'm actually out of a product that sells a lot, and so my AOV is down, and okay, that's the problem, and there's not really anything I can do about that except for put back in stock on my site and send an email when it's back, you know? So whatever, like, so that I think is what I do. I try to go like understand the problem before I go respond to it.